Okay, so this is actually a really interesting pick here by the Canadiens. If you're talking about left-handed defensemen that the team ended up trading away, like Alexander Romanov yesterday, for example, you have to acknowledge that there are indeed a lot of names in the Canadiens system that might be able to replace Romanov. And if you're talking about the hierarchy of guys moving up in the system, Romanov is out, therefore somebody else like Norlinder is moving up a spot, somebody else takes his spot on the depth chart, etc., etc. You have yourselves a name that could, not going to say he would be, but he could be somewhat of the next in line in that mold. We're talking about Adam Engstrom today, who played most recently for the Regla Junior 20 team in the J20 National. He is a player who actually did suit up, he was with Djurgården in the SHL, but he's going to go over to Regla in the J20 League next season. This is a really interesting pickup by Montreal in the 92nd overall spot here in the 2022 NHL Draft. 18 years old, born November 2003, 6'2", 185 as a left-handed defenseman, so a pretty solid frame, and he's a guy that really wasn't pegged to go in this range at all. I mean, he was drafted 92nd, of course, but he was only really ranked one place, and that was Recruit Scouting, who had him 158th. He was also 38th on NHL Central Scouting's list for European skaters, but of course, that's not the list that includes North Americans, so if you're 30th on the European list, that could be as low as 60, 70, or 80, depending on who is in the American list. But all in all, this is a player that did produce a pretty good amount of numbers. He had 28 points in 45 games played for Djurgårdens at the Junior 20 level. He also did have a game played for the SHL team too. It's actually really interesting because a lot of people were saying, hey, Djurgården did just get demoted recently to the Allsvenskan, so if he actually stayed with the Djurgårdens team, he actually would have been able to play against lower level competition, but also still play against men, which would have served him a little bit better than the J20 National, because J20 is, of course, junior. He also did produce over a point per game for the Djurgårdens J20 team in the postseason. Now, when it comes to what people are saying online about this guy, because, of course, I didn't watch too many Djurgården games this season, aside from looking at the Lekaramakis and the Ostlins and the Ugrins and all that, but that was mostly the main team. There are indeed some on Twitter that have been a little bit high on this guy in comparison to where you would think he would be comparative to his draft stock. This is what Thibaut Chatel says on Twitter. He was 96th overall on the model, so it fits perfectly here. He's a defenseman who had average results in the Swedish Junior League. He should play with men, but in the Allsvenskan next year. However, I don't know if that is actually correct. We also had Steve Korianis on the Draft Analyst say that the Habs have taken a kid that a lot of us over here love, Djurgården's J20 defender Adam Engstrom, who was just as skilled and talented as Kalle Odelius, but didn't get the same hype. He dominated the J20 playoffs while Odelius struggled for what it's worth. He's a confident, pedal-to-the-metal puck rusher. So, talk in the comments all your thoughts about the Montreal Canadiens taking Adam Engstrom here in the, the third round of the 2022 NHL Entry Draft. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.